Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. My name is Rabenschild. Today, again with a bit of stalling and a bit of an improvised video. Sorry people, but at the moment I sadly need to do that. And today's maybe a bit of a short day. A new neighbor is moving in, or he moved in, but there's a lot of noise going on. I hope you can't hear that in the back. I waited it out as long as possible. So we talked in the last episode about this ship and that I'm continuing to work on it, and you can see that I have done that. It takes one thing that you have to always realize with these small ships gone big is that they naturally take a lot more time, because it's so weird because you use the small blocks, and so you have to kind of realize that if you place one block here, that is a lot less than if you would work with the big blocks. But the cool thing is that you definitely can get a lot nicer shapes. That doesn't mean that that everything is perfect, and we take a look at that in a second. With the I need that. With the small blocks, you run into the same problem that you sometimes have with the big ones, that there is just not enough shapes. Kind of, by the way, you can see that it is completely open on the bottom. I had to remodel a lot, and you can see that there's parts from the front missing because I had to completely redo things. Here in the back, I would like to have a bit of different shapes. So maybe have this move up and then have a slope in here that moves to up here. That's kind of how the ship is shaped in the pictures, and that's just not possible. You cannot do that with the blocks we have, so I had to settle for a bit of an easier shape, and so I went with just a flat here and then a flat here. For the bottom, again, I can go down a bit, and then the cool thing here is that it is basically a flat with a bit of a slope in it. And I'm not sure yet how to do the slope. Now that I have settled for this room here, I have enough space to put in an airlock. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I will have to cut this out too. We have enough space for an airlock basically here, and I can move things into the room here. I had to reshape the room above it, kind of, and so I opened this down here up a bit more. And we can let me bring in kind of the shape of the room, because the room basically has a lot higher ceiling than the other rooms have. But what I can do here is just show you where the next room would sit, and that would be in here. So what the show does is it lets ladders, or not ladders, really the slopes, the angle of the slopes here is very, very steep. So that's how you get up and down. There's a really steep staircase is the wrong, it's basically a ladder that goes up here and comes from down here, so it continues here, and then this would be basically the command section with some chairs on the sides. You would walk to the front, and there would be another staircase to a part that is a bit higher up, where there would be the pilot chairs. And I want to do a bit of trickery to bring the pilot chairs in basically facing this way. So I will mount them to something here so that the flight direction of the ship is still into that direction, kind of, because if I would mount the chairs like they are in the series, it would mean they would be this way. And that doesn't really work out for me. So yeah, so we have to kind of get around this and have the seats a bit cheeky swept around so that I still have the right flight direction. So the cool thing is that with the slope that I can put in here, I need to go inside and heal myself up. I've done that too much now. I'm constantly running out of energy. I ran out of oxygen one time already. Working in here, it would be nice to have the shields back. The shields don't. The defense shields have this option to pressurize them normally, because as with the laser antennas, there seems to be a problem with pressurizing the shields, so they don't help at all. I asked K-Max what mod for shields he's using. He's using the energy shields mod, and I think I will try to bring that in and see if it works with the laser antennas. People had a lot of good suggestions and asked me to try out certain things with having poles stick out of the shields with the laser antennas on and all that stuff. And we have to say that doesn't work. For one, if I would have to put a pole onto this ship, for example, and put a laser antenna on, the pole would be crazy high because the shields wrap around the ship in a weird angle. And for example, for this ship, even with the shields turned off, it doesn't work. So it's a weird trade-off. I will try to see if the energy shields, that's basically you put down modules and they add another layer to the outer hull or something like that. I don't know how that works, but they don't seem to establish this bubble around the ship, and that seems to be the problem, because the bubble kind of acts as something that blocks line of sight to other antennas. I got a mod, and I talked about that. I'm pretty sure that removes the line of sight requirement for the laser antennas. I might bring that in and then use the defense shield. We will have to figure that out. But for now, I want to keep continuing to work on this ship. Although, yeah, in yesterday's stream, Rametheb kind of came up with a concept for the next streams that is really interesting, but I will have to see how I can put in the time for that, because we want to establish, after we are finished now on the Earth-like, kind of, or not finished, but we have a base now on the Earth-like in the stream world, and there is the idea to establish something on Mars now. And Rametheb came up with a concept of using modular bases that we can maybe hot drop from orbit, or use a ship to drop them off. And I kind of have to... I might have to break my own rule to do everything in survival and maybe prepare stuff in creative. Not sure yet how to do that. I have some ideas for that stuff, but again, I would have to build them in creative. Maybe we can do a bit of a diversion from this world and go into creative and do some work there. I'm not sure. You will have to let me know if that's an idea you would like to see. We are coming close to episode 800, and I'm not sure if that's something you might want to see. I have another idea that I don't want to talk too much about, and that's also something that I want to do. So not sure how to realize that. Maybe we could interchange episodes, or make, whenever I don't have a lot of time to finish stuff, maybe we can then have episodes in a creative world. I'm not sure yet how to deal with that. Okay, so this side here again, it's the easiest shape I can come. Or the only shape I really could use. Having too much differences in these slopes is just not possible, sadly. There is mods out there that introduce new blocks, and I took a look at some of these, but they don't allow for these shapes as well. It's a bit sad. I would like to have... Yeah, I would like to have an easier time with making the planes for the different planes for the shapes of this ship. It's sad. It loses a bit of its grace. It looks nicer with the cut-in shapes, because for one, I had to get rid of the... So in the show, or in the pictures I have, you might remember that there's a straight section that comes up from the tip, goes completely to the back here, and it doesn't diverge from that. So it doesn't get wider here. It stays straight the whole time until the back, and then it widens this here because there is a slope that comes in this way, but it's also very, very narrow here, and it kind of slopes back from here to here. So it's a weird shape that I would like to be able to build. Sadly can't do that. But you see that this is the worst part of the ship right now. Building these blocks is just not nice. And I hope there's no other shapes where I have to do that. I had to finish this on the back, but it was not as bad as possible. These blocks, the one I'm holding here, that's the main culprit. I hope I can show that. So if you work with these blocks, so here you need to switch out because you need the bottom blocks, these ones, and these ones you can see they keep their orientation. So I can place them. And when I do the next row, they will stay the same. With this here, now it doesn't do that, but this block sometimes, especially this one, changes orientation weirdly, and I don't know why. It's something that's in the game for ages now, and it really makes building these slopes a bit awkward. Yeah, good. Again, I want to hear what you think about that. Maybe next week we could do a bit of building in a creative world. We could also work on this a bit more, but I kind of have a plan for what's coming after episode 800. And I don't want to diverge too much from that. So building in a creative world could be nice. Establishing a modular housing system would be a cool thing. But I still don't want to stray too far away from here. There it is. There it is. See, now the orientation of the block changed. And I have to re-establish the orientation. There it was. Nice. And the tiny one, the tip of the whole thing, stays always the same. It's the worst to build with. Let me know what you think about that, how we should continue. It's always when I don't stay on that thing. Maybe have to keep that in mind for the next section. Okay, good. Now 7. See, now it stayed the same. This and this, and now I will switch to this section so that we hopefully are able to switch back. 8. Here I have to move out, otherwise it will not be a nice transition to the other slope. See, that's why I usually build on my own. I'm not good at talking and building. That's something I try to avoid. That's why some people think that I talk too much, because I then stop building and then I don't just sit around or stand around, do nothing, point at things, and some people don't like that. Good. There were people that were really happy about me building the ship, seeing that it kind of comes together. And I have to say, that's always the best when it comes to space engineers. Building this up, seeing how the whole ship develops. With building just small ships, that's nice. Building just big ships, that's nice. Again, when it comes to the small ships gone big, you run into the problem that it takes a lot more effort. So you trade more detail for more time, basically. But it's rewarding. The next thing, once I'm done with the rough shape, so like I have it here right now, I want to continue that on the bottom, bring it around, and have then basically this on the other side too. Now it is smooth and really not too nice. What needs to happen is I need to integrate shapes into it. So, for example, somewhere here in the back, usually there would be thrusters that, don't know, RCS thrusters, and the ship has some other thrusters I want to use, or that the ship can use. I want to at least bring in some shapes that maybe make it possible to hide some thrusters in there. And the same happens, for example, here. This is just too flat. This needs a bit of, yeah, moving out of this shape. I need a few more, and that's one thing I want to search for, is a few more really detailed shots of the ship, so that I hopefully can get a few more things that I notice and see, okay, here's something happening that I need to integrate, here's something happening that I need to build up. Or the thing is that gives me, when I have the rough shape, then I can start also to cut away things again. So it's hard to describe that. The cool thing here is we're not working in marble, so if something is gone, we are able to just bring it back. That's a good thing. I wouldn't be a good person to work in a material that is not, that you can't bring back to its original shape. So, and the built-in repair system really helps. If I would have to also weld this whole thing up, man, that would be crazy. But one thing I really don't like here is the fact that I don't have symmetry here. So the usual symmetry stuff that you have in creative is not in here. I kind of thought about cheating, building the whole thing up in creative and then projecting that in to at least have the rough shape. I'm not sure. You will have to let me know if that's something I should do. It's a pain. It's a real pain to work with the small blocks if you don't have symmetry. But I pride myself so much on working in this world with, yeah, next to no creative means, kind of, that I don't know. It would be bad to just now stray away from that rule. So, okay, this needs to lead back. I have the feeling that this top part here is a bit too long. But again, the whole shape of the ship is a bit off. You are just not able to completely get the shape right. It looks a bit as if someone took the front and the back and then pushed it together. But you would have to put in so many more shapes, so many more blocks if you would make it longer and a bit flatter. And then I would again have the feeling that I couldn't fit anything on the inside. And that wouldn't be nice. I would like to be able to also fit stuff on the inside. And that's just, if you make it longer and slimmer, then that wouldn't be possible. Good. I saw other people this week build a lot of stuff that I will really have to take another look at. Yesterday I talked to Kmax noticed that there is problems with the kind of, and I don't know how long that is because I don't do a lot of blueprints, but Chemex noticed that there's problems with the blueprint system, and we worked on that yesterday before the stream, and then we're able to figure it out. I don't want to, if he wants to talk about the revelation, I don't want to. The revelation. The findings we had, I don't want to take that away from him, so I will leave that up to him to explain what happened there. It's typical space engineers. It's so typical space engineers. Good. So again, you can see here's a flat that usually this part here, this corner, I think that's not there. But there's another thing where I wouldn't know how to integrate that a lot better. Because there is something here like a flat, like lines in here. And again, I have the suspicion that there's something also sloped that comes a lot more to the front. But this line here, this and this line, that's definitely there. So we cannot obstruct that. But we can build up something in here that comes a bit more to the front that maybe takes a bit of the rough shape off. Hope that works out in the end. Edgar is still hard at work. There was not a lot of anomalies he found. There's some encounters, but it's stuff I have already seen. If there is other things coming up, I definitely will let you know. But working. Okay, we pull the curtain away for a second when it comes to Edgar, and every scene, and as easy as they seem to be and as unproblematic as people see that, is in air quotes, a lot of time I add to my editing. And my editing software is not the best. So, but never take a, what is it? Never look a gift horse in the mouth. So, I cannot really complain, but it's not perfect, and it's not made for editing stuff like that. So it always takes time to do these Edgar scenes, as dumb as that sounds, because for you they look so easy. For me, it's going in there, then having this glowing red dot. If I want to animate that, I have to go in and I have to make a curve that kind of fits to the sound, and I have to get the voiceover from the robot-y voice I have to make, and with the text-to-speech thing I use there, it's hard to... Sometimes you have to rewrite what Edgar is supposed to say to kind of make it sound a bit nicer, these text-to-speech programs. If they are free, then you have to live with it. Okay, but pushing the curtain back into place. Yeah, Edgar's still hard at work. So I will again not disturb him with any things that I can do myself. The observatory is really spinning hard, and that is always the sign that Edgar is not giving up, has not yet given up on finding things. Okay. This happens a lot, misplacing blocks. The reach of the character with small blocks, it kind of, you look so far away from what you're building, and the reach is the same with, I think, big blocks. But it means that if you misclick, you have the whole thing filled with, sometimes filled with things that just hover there, don't get welded up. Before I fly that ship for the first time, I would definitely will have to go through the ship and see if there's, if there's blocks flying in the air that could damage the whole interior. And you can see that this is so much more time you use up to just go in there and place block after block after block after block. Oh, hope you can understand why this ship is... I have the feeling this ship is a lot harder to build than even the bigger ships I have. Because, again, with the bigger ships, the frame roughly takes, I would say, and we could take a look at that. Let me see something. I will take a look at something that I usually wouldn't do, I think, but here we allow ourselves to do that for once. Okay, we have blocks 4,160. So now let us go over to 4,700 something. So if we go and take a look at the Empress, can I just see? No, that's the asteroid base, but just take a look at the... So the whole asteroid base is just... It's just 19,000 blocks, basically. So the whole asteroid base with all the ships connected to it, it's just that. Although this ship is also connected to it, so I don't understand it really. Maybe because it's not conveyed up. I'm not sure. What ship could we take a look at and maybe have a comparison? Maybe the Duchessa. The Duchessa is a good thing to use as a comparison. So the Duchessa itself just has 1,036 blocks. So this thing is crazy. It's really crazy. So this will take a lot more time. Good people, I've rambled on for long enough. I will continue to build this ship up. I should have a bit more time in the next days to work on this. And I hope that on Monday we have a lot more progress here. So what I want you to do is tell me if we should do maybe an episode or two over the next few weeks and go into a creative world and start to work on stuff for the streams, so I don't have to do all the work in the streams. That's something I might not want to have to do. We need something to drop everything off onto the surface. That would be good to have. And then maybe, yeah, a modular base for the buildings that we can then build up upon. That would be nice to have. So give me your opinion on that. That would be really cool. And yeah, otherwise I would say, hope you liked the episode. If you did, then please leave a like on the video, and I hope to see you in the next episode. I would say take a look at the description. There's a lot going on, Twitter, Patreon, that's always helpful to have, and then yeah, link to the playlist and to the mod list and all that stuff. Good people, thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. See ya, guys.